Hi everyone, it's Jamie and welcome back to my channel. You might be wondering what's with the witch hat, the Salem shirt. Today I wanted to do something a little fun. So yesterday, this actually might be up on the 12th, so depending on what day it went up, September 10th was the day Realm of Magic was released on PC and Mac for The Sims 4. If you follow this channel, you know that was actually one of my most excited for packs, as well as it's one of my favorite packs still. And I know it's not everyone's favorite, not everyone likes occult. Some people, don't like how spellcasters work, whatever. But I still like it. And this is my channel. So today what I'm going to be doing is tomorrow I'm going off to watch a movie with some of my friends. Oh. Oven's ready. Going off to watch some movies with some of my friends. So I'm gonna make some spooky cupcakes in kind of a celebration of Realm of Magic, and so we can have something nice tomorrow. I already have all my dry mix in here. I could have made my own frosting, but I bought the Funfetti. And what I'm gonna do in this video is I'm gonna try to mix this. I can't get a good setup in here to actually film making this, so I do apologize ahead of time, but that's okay. So I'm just going to kind of take my time to make this and talk to you guys about Realm of Magic and why I wanted to do this video. I might take this hat off. I love this hat, but it's so big. Fun fact, I actually got that hat in Salem too. So I can't get a good angle in here, but I'm putting in a cup of water. I'm not a baking channel. No one's coming here to see how I bake. That's okay. But part of the reason I want to do this video is also, so today is September 11th, which in America is kind of like a not so great day. Not going to go into too much explanation, but as we all know, 9/11 happened. But also, 9/11 is my cousin's birthday. So, happy birthday, Christy. And then also, it is the 4th anniversary of when my dad passed away. So 9/11 is like this really not great day in my life. I just like destroyed that egg. So I really just wanted to take my time today and just do something fun, do something for me. And also with Realm of Magic turning a year old, I just really thought it'd be a nice time to think about it. Like, what are my thoughts a year later? So it's 9 o'clock. I don't know if you can tell that. So I'm not going to be using a mixer. I'm going to use a fork. So I apologize for anyone who's like, what are you doing? So let's talk about Realm of Magic a year later, a year out. How do I still feel about it? Because I used to do my reviews for packs like the day or day after I got them. And then with Eco Lifestyle, it took me so long to review that because I was just having so much fun playing it and building in that world that I didn't really have my thoughts put together quite yet. And I've been starting to think, I think it might be better for at least me to take more time between like when I review packs. And I did kind of a review for Realm of Magic. I think I called it like an analysis because I was just more, I think, talking about like some of the aspects of it and where I thought the inspirations were coming from or whatever, which we can still talk about today. But a year out from our Realm of Magic, I actually still think it's a good pack. I am biased in the fact that I actually do like witches a lot. Fun fact, I'm actually looking, because I'm thinking about going back for my master's. And for the longest time, I kept saying I was going to go back for art education and become an art teacher. And while I think I could actually find like a lot of meaning and like be like satisfied with that and whatnot, I don't think I actually would enjoy it. Like, I don't know, I think I would enjoy it, but I feel like I don't know if it's the right path at this time in my life. And I was like, okay. And I was thinking I could go back for like a folklore, like kind of mythology degree, and that's usually through like some kind of humanities or anthropology department. And so I'm thinking for the ones I'm applying to, I'm thinking hopefully if I get into them, I can maybe do some kind of anthropology or humanities, kind of arts masters with like focus in folklore, because I really just want to be able to learn more about like the historical origins of like art depictions and ideas of witches and witchcraft. I've talked about that a little bit on my other channel, my art history channel, or I guess it's my video essay channel. And I've talked about it in a few different videos, but I'd really love to be able to be like in an academic setting again. So we'll see. But yeah, so I have a huge love for witches. I love media that has witches in it. You know, I love Harry Potter. I love the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. You know, and I also love like the historical side of like witches and witchcraft, like witch trials and you know whatnot. So I think coming into this pack, on one hand, I am a little disappointed on the fact that a lot of their ideas of witchcraft did seem to come from a little bit of Harry Potter, a little bit of the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and some like other like pop culture references. And there didn't seem to be a lot of interest in like the history. But I do think it's still a good pack. I actually do like the gameplay. I like the whole like like perk system. I will say at first I was a little like disappointed that it wasn't like vampires where there were both positive and negatives, but I think it makes sense because like for vampires, I think those powers were so like so OP. I guess it made sense, but I don't know. The more I've played it, the more I'm like, you know what, it actually does make sense that we don't have like a perks and negative system, because like what negatives would witches have? And I'm really glad, I was really worried for a while that they were going to do like a 2-form system like they do with mermaids and vampires. And I was like, in aliens, I was like, oh. And then they didn't, and I was like, good. I think some people might be upset about that, but I think that was the right decision. Let's get a little bit into like the gameplay, because I do think there's a lot of valid criticism. I will agree, I don't think this pack on its own has a lot of replayability, but for me personally, I never play with just like individual packs. You know, like if I'm going to play with vampires, they're never just vampires. You know, I'm either mixing them with like, you know, the careers from Get to Work, having them go to university, and like that's the same with how I play spellcasters. You know, I'm like, they're going to have kids, they're going to have families. You know, they're not just going to be like there, you know? And I do think that is something that could just be, I don't know, I feel like maybe and I think there's some people who define like family gameplay is just like suburban family gameplay, and like that's fine, but that's not how I define it. Like when I'm playing with families in The Sims, I'm like, all right, so they're witches and they have to go to their day job. That could just because I love shows like Charmed, for example, where like they were witches but they had jobs. I only have one cupcake pan, so. But yeah, there are some things in the gameplay that I think could have lasted longer, because it is pretty fast. It's like really easy if you want it to be, to learn a bunch of spells, because I think if I remember correctly, you can like ask each sage I think 3 times for spells, and then there's also looking through the books, playing with the cauldrons. So like there's definitely ways, if you grind, you can really get through it. But I think for me, my gameplay style isn't just grinding, it's kind of slower. So I think that's maybe why I'm able to enjoy the pack a little bit more. One thing that did kind of bother me is that we didn't get that many spells in the long run. I know, I'm pretty sure that The Sims 3 had more spells. I don't think all of them were that great, but we definitely got less spells here, and I do think it can feel more rewarding when you learn the spells in this system than in the other one, because those ones where I think were attached to like you ranking up like the skill. This one you're like ranking up like your level in like just being a witch in general. So I do like that. This is just a little tiny thing. I don't really like that they're called spellcasters, just because the cheat for them does say witches. So I'm like, why'd you go with spellcasters? And you definitely were thinking about calling them witches, but I definitely think I understand why. And I think that's just because I think witches, even though you can use it in a more like gender neutral kind of term, I do think some people do associate very genderedly, and historically has been very gendered. So I do get it, and I do understand also wanting to maybe separate from that kind of history of witches. So, but I still wish they were called witches. I refer to them that way. I generally think the gameplay's fun. I do agree, I don't think it's the longest lasting gameplay, but I don't think for me that's necessarily an issue. And once again, that has to do with, I think, the way I play packs and the way I play with The Sims. So, but I can understand maybe for some other players that being an issue, but I do still think spellcasters are 100 times better than witches in The Sims 3. Now, let's talk about like the Create Sim assets, because this is where there's like some interesting, in my opinion, like influences, because we got some influences that maybe went like maybe a little bit more classical, kind of like woodsy, earthy, kind of like forest witch or something. There's some outfits that definitely lean more towards like Harry Potter, and then there's some that lean more towards like Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. So I did really like that there came with like a whole range of what you can make your like witch be. And I do like that, because I think in The Sims 3 is very kind of like, this is what a witch is. In The Sims 4 it's a little bit more open. And you know, they kind of had that with vampires. Vampires definitely went more for a straight up just Victorian theme and a few kind of like modern gothic things. But in this one there did seem to be a good range. There was some like Victorian inspired outfits, which I really liked, and then also some kind of just modern, maybe some edgy stuff. They definitely, I think, had a good mix with this pack. Some issues with the pack, I would say, is I know some people don't like how small the world is. I think I understand why game pack worlds are smaller, so that doesn't really bother me too much. And I do like the build and buy for the most part. I do have some issues with it. I think for me, I think the windows should have been more for a medium height than a small height. And the reason I say that is because they don't really fit on a small height anyways, especially those like bigger, rounder windows we have. Which the stained glass is beautiful. They did such a good job. But I don't think it really works on a small height, because they don't look good on small height walls. So then you have to use medium, but they don't fill up the wall quite enough, I think, to justify a medium height wall. So I definitely wish they made the windows bigger. And I do wish there maybe had been a few more variations, but I do like the windows overall. I kind of like that inspiration of that like late 19th century Art Nouveau kind of look. I think they did a very good job with it too, especially in the furniture. And I will say it's definitely not the vibe I thought they were gonna go for. I thought once again they're gonna go for kind of like a Victorian, like classic Victorian. Like you could still count Art Nouveau as like Victorian, but Art Nouveau I think generally is kind of seen as its own thing. But I do think the vibe they went for is really nice. And I do like the world of Glimmerbrook and how it looks. I do think one mistake was making it so we can't actually live in the magic realm. And once again, I don't mind that you have to use a cheat to unlock to edit the magic realm, like magic headquarters. That to me is fine. I'm totally fine with that. But I wish there had been some kind of livable lot somewhere in there, you know? And, you know, I do generally like some of the animations that came for it. And I do think overall it's a good pack. I definitely do think Vampires, I think, is still a better pack than Realm of Magic. And part of the reasoning, I think, it's the gameplay is a little bit more replayable, as well as there's more different things to do with it. Because with Realm of Magic, there was only, I think, 2 new aspirations, and one was like a potion one, and one was like the Master of Magic, whatever. And then for Vampires, we had 3 aspirations, if I remember correctly. There's the Master Vampire, the like Family Vampire one, and then the other one I'm forgetting. And I don't know, I just kind of was wishing, like, I wish there'd been like a Mischief Magic one where you, like, your sim just wants to go off and like do bad things as a witch, you know? And like it could have literally just been like an updated version of like the Mischief trait or aspiration all over, but just made specifically for magic. And I do like that it does mesh well with the other worlds, in the sense that if you use magic outside of the magic realm or Glimmerbrook, and someone like, you know, Nancy Landgrab, who just happens to be jogging by, sees you, that there actually is like an effect that like people get upset. However, I do wish there had been more of a consequence. And I think this once again just goes back to like the base game of The Sims 4. We need, I think, the ability for your Sims to get like arrested or something. Not that I think you could get arrested for being a spellcaster, but I feel like if more people trashed you, that'd be fine. I don't know, just things to think about, I guess. If I personally were, you know, hired at the time to work on Realm of Magic, there are some things I think I would have changed and added. Number one, I think I would have added a few more options for clothing. I would have added a new witch's hat, and I think I would have gone for maybe something, because we have one from Spooky Day, which is like, you know, similar to the one I have, that classic iconic cone shaped hat, which that idea comes from the Victorian period. There's also some earlier depictions of it, and some people think it has to do with like the Puritans and their like reactions to like other styles or something. I'm not going to comment too much on it, just because I don't claim to be a expert. But you know, that idea of like the conical hat on a witch, we see a lot in like Victorian illustrations. So that's where I think the iconic idea, especially for like the Wicked Witch of the West and whatnot, comes from. And I wish we got one that maybe was a little bit softer, a different material, and didn't have the spider web with the spider hanging from it, just because I think that could have been a fun. Because I think if you go online, you can find a bunch of like modern day witch hats, which they have kind of like the conical shape, maybe more of like that elf like look to it. I don't know. But you know, just some things to think about. I would have added probably more spells. And I think I also would have added the ability to live in the magic realm. And I think I would have changed how brooms work just a little. I don't mind like my Sims flying up and then flying down. Like that doesn't bother me too much. But I do wish there was the ability just to like fly in circles. And you just see your Sim like flying above their house in circles or something. I think that could have been fun. You know, the fact that like every time you fly, you just go whoop and then appear down, like that doesn't bother me, but I just wish you could have more fun with it. I think I also would have added maybe a new trait. It kind of bothers me that we don't have like the supernatural skeptic trait yet, because that would have been fun. I understand there aren't, other than plant Sims and ghosts, there aren't anything in the base game for cults really. But I feel like it could work maybe in the base game, but it could have come with this pack, or it could have come with vampires, or if we ever get that werewolf pack I really want, it could come in that one too. Or if we ever get like that Happy Haunts pack, that we had been voting on. I think it could come with that one or something, but who knows. Things to think about, though, because I'm always thinking about other things we can get. Some other things I think I would have fixed are, I don't know, overall I do think it's a good pack. I understand why it's not everyone's favorite, but it's like with vampires in the sense that I don't think people can call it a bad pack. I will say I don't think it's as good as vampires, but like, for example, like even like little Simsy and stuff, she'll say like vampires is a good pack. She doesn't like playing with it, but she agrees it's a good, well-made pack. And I think that's how I wish more people talked about Realm of Magic, because I really don't see them too different. I think one of the biggest issues with Realm of Magic was at its launch date, you saw a bunch of like townies there. And I do understand they needed the world to feel more full, but I wish they'd found a way to create more NPCs just for that world or something. Like in The Sims 1, anytime an NPC spawned, they would only exist for like that minute. And I wish The Sims 4 had like their current NPC system where you might see them again and again, and then like a little specialized NPC who just exists for that moment in time. So, that could be fun. Another thing I think could have actually been fixed about Realm of Magic, now that I think about it, is when Sims who are like NPCs or like ones you've created that you don't play with really, and you just like make them a house and like plop them down. If they're witches, they show up to the magic realm, and even if you've created an outfit for them that they can wear, they come up in some janky ass stuff. I don't know what they're wearing. Like I made the Halliwell sisters to live in my charmed house I made. I don't really play with them, but they're just there. They're just chilling. And sometimes I'll go to the magic realm and I'll be like, what is Prue wearing? I'm like, Prue would never wear that. And I'm like, and she has good looks that use things from Realm of Magic. So I'm like, why not have her show up in that? Or even if I'm not playing like my main Sims and I'm playing a different Sim and bring them to the Magic Realm, I'll see my main Sims there. Once again, just wearing awful things. So, I mean, Sims team, you need to get that under control. But, those are just some things I think, aren't the best. And for me, I think, honestly, some of the biggest issues I think people had with Realm of Magic, to me, felt more like a base game, kind of like The Sims 4 at its core issue. So I'm like, well, that's not really an issue with this pack. And if the Sims team can go back and fix some issues in the foundation, I do think it'll actually elevate every pack. Like I said, this day is a weird day for me, and I really just wanted to celebrate this pack because I'm so happy about it. Like, honestly, I'm at the point right now where I think I almost have everything I need for my Sims game. We're still missing a Generations pack, and I definitely think we could still get one. But at this point, I feel like I have like the core packs well, that's a lie. Other than Generations and Werewolves, I'm at the point where I think I pretty much have everything I personally need for The Sims 4. That doesn't mean I'm still not excited for future content to come out, but that does mean, however, that I can happily play the game now, because beforehand I had to use like all these like mods if I wanted to play with witches and stuff. So the fact that now I can actually go back and just like play with witches on my own, like, that to me is a good thing. So anyways, I think I'm gonna wrap this video up. I'll show some shots, like filmy shots later, to maybe some music once my cupcakes are done. So anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned for those shots, and while you're here, check out some other content on my channel, and let me know down below. Now that Realm of Magic's a year old, are you happy? Are you celebrating? Or is it a pack you just don't care for? Thank you so much for watching and supporting this channel, and I'll see you in the next one.